Handle your high with Tadayoshi. All right, welcome back. I'm going to take my glasses off. Sorry about that. Welcome to my show. Thanks, Ed, for coming on the show, Gigi. I appreciate it. You were on my last podcast.
I was. That was like so long ago.
I know, it was several years ago. It's kind of funny. It's kind of
when I first started.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first started in the industry.
Yeah, you did.
13.
And you were living in New York?
I'm from New York, but I lived in Jersey the last 4 years. I lived in Jersey for 4 years, and then now I'm in Dallas.
Dallas. How do you like Dallas? Like, I've thought about going to Texas, and I have family that lives there in the Dallas area.
It's spacious. It's a little cheaper. The weather is great. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain.
So now, from my experience, like, I've lived on both coasts. I've lived in the middle, and I've lived in a lot of different places. And I always love comparing the people because I really find a significant difference in personalities. And it doesn't make anybody bad or worse. It just means that that there are definitely different sensibilities, right? Like East Coast people, West Coast people.
I think people in Texas here care more and like to talk more.
Really? Like, you mean more personal stuff, or like?
Well, they care. Like, they care if you don't say hi. They care if you're not, they're like really all up in your business. They want to, they take offense if you're not talking.
It gets worse.
Just from my experience, but in New York, it's like everybody's too busy. They're just like.
I was going to say that's very opposite of New York. It's like,
yeah, the people don't care. Like, they don't even want to give directions.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think it's similar to that, like in Boston as well, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, if you ask a Texas person, where something is, they'd be like, oh, yeah, so, you got to go over here, and then they're like, so, where are you from? Are you, you're just visiting? And, then it's like, dude, I just want directions.
It's like I didn't need the whole backstory.
Yeah. New York, even though they know where to go, they're like, oh, I don't know, sorry.
Nope, that's okay. I don't know.
Yeah, like I've seen it happen plenty of times when I used to work in the city. Some tourist would ask like somebody on their way to work, and clearly they're from the city, and they're like, "Oh, do you know where Fifth Avenue is?" "Oh, sorry, I don't know," and just walks off.
Well, that's what the big cities are all about, I suppose. Sometimes
people are different, but every city has its good and bad.
Yeah, what I found was that the friendships that I made in like the East. When you become good friends with somebody, that's like a friend for life. Whereas the other friendships that I had some other places like California or...
My parents moved to California.
Oh yeah, whereabouts?
They moved to Woodland Hills.
Oh, okay.
They moved 2016.
Do they like it?
I don't think so.
No.
It's too late now. They just moved cross country. They spent like 43 years in New York, and they moved a couple years ago, and now they're in LA. Do
you like, which do you prefer, the East Coast or New York living or Texas?
I mean, it just depends. I mean, everything. I like the weather here. I like how cheap everything is. I like that it's close by plane to LA. It's close. You're right in the middle, so it's 3 hours in any direction. I mean, I like what I do here. It's easier here to train people, right? Because just the layout of the land.
Are you in the city center, like the city proper, Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I'm right in the center. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you
downtown. I'm in between downtown, Plano, Frisco, Allen. I'm right in the middle. I'm where the mall is.
Now, what made you choose that area, particularly in Texas?
I used the locator. And basically, I flew in, I was visiting a friend, and I decided to check out some apartments. And I had like 5 on my list that was given to me. I checked them all out. I didn't really like them. So I was basically going to go back to New Jersey and like come back another day, But then the locator had called me and said, hey, there's one more place I want you to check out. And I was like, oh, but, I'm borrowing somebody's car. So I don't really have time. And she's like, well, I really think you should go check it out. You're right near there already. So I called my friend up and I was like, hey, do you mind? I know she had a wedding to go to that day. And I asked her, I said, I know you need the car. So I'll skip this and I'll just do it another day. And she goes, no, 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 that's okay. I'll just take an Uber. Why don't you finish off that last apartment? So I went and I signed a lease that day.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's really how that happened. It happened in an instant because I really wasn't sure I wanted to move.
Oh, wow.
It was a brand new apartment. No one's ever lived in there. They were having a deal going on. It was like right near the mall. The mall is 800 feet away from me.
Oh.
And it's right behind the building. And yeah, and that's really what started. I like loved it. I was like, all right. And then, the deposit down here is nothing.
Right. Compared to New York or New Jersey.
New York, you put first and last. It's like $5,000 just to move in.
Right.
Here, to get the lease, it was like $300.
Right.
Right. So I was like, okay. And I signed, and then I got back on the plane and I just started to move.
Oh, wow.
Because for like 2 years, I was like, oh, where should I go? Should I go to LA where my parents are going? Should I move back to New York? Should I move to a different apartment in Jersey? Like, I was struggling on where to go because I didn't want to stay in that same apartment that I had. And yeah, that was it. That's how that happened.
What made you want to move out of the state completely? Because I was surprised. I just thought you would have just stayed on the East Coast somewhere, at least.
I don't know. I wanted to change. Actually, cost of living was is really high, and I just want to try something different. Like I was that's really what it is just cost of living. I was trying to figure out where I can live that was just like a busy city, but it was cheaper. And Dallas, it was between Dallas, Arizona, and Florida were my choices.
Dallas, Arizona. Oh yeah. I guess Florida, Arizona, two of my favorite places. I kind of like in terms of states where to live, but I've never lived in either one of those places.
Bodybuilding is pretty it's pretty big here, so that was also another reason. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah, between I think Florida and Texas.
Texas has the most amount of shows.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So that's good. Yeah. So you get to interact with Betty and stuff.
Yes.
Go to the shows and good. That's good. That's awesome.
Shows.
Yeah, and you're going to be doing a show pretty soon.
Yes, I am.
So the Indianapolis one?
No, that's next week.
That's next week. No, I'm sorry. You told me at the Arnold.
That it was supposed to be that.
Okay. So what happened and what's next?
Nothing happened. I just I need to just take some more time. I just need to be a little smaller, like lose
How
some
small
muscle.
do you need to get? You're not that big.
I don't know. Right? No.
It's not like you're huge or anything.
It's less muscle.
I get it. Yeah.
They should have told me that when I first started competing.
Well, it's bikini.
8 years from now, we're gonna go with the no muscle kind of body, and I could have just not worked out for 8 years and just.
That's the funny thing about the industry. That division, especially your division, the bikini division, has evolved quite a bit since it started.
Yeah.
And I remember it was just kind of like a lot more muscular, and now it's a lot smaller. It's almost like it's almost like you don't have to work out.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to, of course, to keep the muscle tone looking right, but some of the ladies can get away with hardly doing any of that stuff, I imagine.
Right.
So
they have a diet and they have some, a little bit of muscle.
And you have a nice degree of muscle. I wouldn't say you're over muscled, but I would say you have a nice, healthy amount of muscle. It looks good. It's balanced nicely. So how are you taking that off? Just gonna.
Is that not training?
Not train? Okay.
Upping that cardio, lessening the protein, lessening the food, time.
That sucks. The food part sucks because.
I mean, it does. Yeah, it does.
It's like, I'm hungry.
Before it's 6 meals, now it's like 4. Which is really like clients that I work with. They only eat like 2 meals a day. I'm like, wow.
How do you survive, man?
but I'm sure at some point you didn't eat all day, and then you finally ate. It was like after lunch. So that's meal 1. Then you ate dinner. That's 2. People do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that. Actually, in fact, I started to do a form of time-restricted eating where I have a fasting window, about 14 hours that I do. And
fasting?
Well, it's I believe in all this research suggests that it's the healthiest for our digestive systems and for our bodies in most cases. Obviously, certain sport applications, it's harder to do. Like if you're trying to, like, I wouldn't be able to do it if I was competing, but because I'm not anymore, it's much easier. It's so much easier on my lifestyle, and it fits my appetite better.
Yeah, but most people do that and not even realize
Now you realize it. They actually do it a little differently. They don't actually have that window. They're eating chunk here. They have a long break where they don't eat and they eat another chunk. And they don't give their digestive systems actually that 14-hour window where there's nothing going in. That's the secret. It's not just not eating. There's a window when you eat and there's a window when you don't. There's a 10-hour window when you eat and there's a 14-hour window when you don't. You can go up to 16 hours. Like some people, like I think Joe Rogan goes up to 16 hours and some other people, but I like the 14-hour. 12 to 14 hours. It's a good time because it can be done while I sleep for the most part. But what I found was the intestinal inflammation is way down, which is great. Like that's what I don't like. I don't like always feeling like I'm bombarding that's what I was struggled with.
Right. So, but most people usually like they get up, they don't eat breakfast, they go to their first meeting, now it's already lunch, and they eat that. Then they'll have their dinner. Or like late lunch, which is like 4 or 5, and then they'll probably go out for drinks afterwards, and then that's it. Technically, that's probably like 3 meals.
Right. Well, there's that whole philosophy with 3 square meals a day. I think this country has sort of embraced for so long, and now we kind of have abandoned it for the most part. But most people just sort of live. They get up, they start eating, and they base their eating schedule on their hunger. And well, man, that is a horrible way to do it, because. The more you eat, the hungrier you typically get in general. So, but what when it comes to so what show is the next one? Did you pick one, or are you just or is it sort of a moving target right now?
I picked a show. Wait, do I have to say it?
You don't have to. I mean, but it doesn't.
I don't know. I think you know what? I don't even know. I think there's one in South Dakota in April.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably. Or was that May 11th? Sorry, I think May 11th.
Oh, you're talking about that might be one I'm judging. So I'll see you there.
South Dakota?
Yeah. So
yeah, no, that looks like more of a better date, because April's like right around the corner. I don't know. It really depends how I'm looking. I mean, I think it really depends how I'm looking.
You play by ear. That's good.
That's the goal, May 11th.
Are you trying to get your weight down to a certain weight or are you just looking for a certain look?
No, I mean, both.
Both.
But it's not the weight part. It's just I need to like be less muscular.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
When you saw me at the Arnold and you see me now, you'll be like, okay, I get it. It's just maybe tighter, leaner, less fullness.
Just don't get too vascular or anything, Don't.
Oops. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. So, so are you very far off? Do you feel like you're far? Okay. Yeah. You don't look like. I mean, you definitely look smaller than you did just a couple of weeks ago when I saw you, even through video, and usually video adds.
I'm only like.
Because I can tell the bones in your face.
Oh, it's probably the filler.
I can tell, like when I saw you at the expo. And then I see you now. I'm like, okay, yeah, she looks like she's definitely getting more condensed, just condensing in.
That's condensed, but with like a little bit less muscle.
Yeah.
Just see if you judge that show, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Is that a new show?
I don't know. I just got a notification from Jim. I think just the other night. So.
Do you like judging the pros?
I do. I don't like judging the amateurs because they're long. and you have to pick the best out of the worst sometimes. Like some of the classes you're picking, like they all look like shit. It's like, okay, everybody looks like crap kind of. And it's like, who do I pick? Here's like, well, I just have to pick out the worst one and then work my way up. But with the pros, everybody looks pretty good. So at least I get to test my skills. I get to really examine, and I get to really sort of appreciate the physiques, and it's a lot more fun. At least for me, and then I also, in the pros, you guys are dictating the scope and the pace of the industry for the most part for your divisions, and so I get to contribute to that. That's what I like. That I get to at least have a little tiny fingerprint on the industry to say, hey, I contributed.
Right. You just need to pick girls that are a little bit more muscular.
Yeah. To be honest, when I look at a lineup, I don't look at it like that. I look at it really pretty much like who really does look the best. Even if somebody's more muscular, but they look better, I'll pick them. Absolutely, I'll pick them over somebody else who fits a standard. I don't go by standards.
Look good. We all look good. So
Well,
it's like,
I guess I should say look good relative to the standard that's been put before me. So if they say this is the standard, this is what we want, they say, okay, well, what is it? Who matches at the best? And then there are those little tiny cues, those little tiny things in a person's physique and their display and their presentation that come across so differently that make them stand out. I absolutely give all that weight, because this is a sport that's not just a sport of like well-formed molecules. It's a sport of well-formed molecules in combination with how you present those molecules to judges, how you do everything. It's everything, all the whole picture. And so a lot of that, again, it's hard to beat somebody who's just truly genetically gifted. Like that's difficult to like overcome with just presentation, of course. But so I can't weigh that too heavy, overweigh that. But
right.
I can take it all into consideration, and that happens a lot. I think I've seen it happen in bodybuilding. I've seen it happen in all these other divisions, and a lot of people kind of. It's so hard when you look at pictures and then you try to, and then it doesn't translate sometimes very well to what actually happens. It happens at the show, because you're getting to see everything in 3 dimensions, and a competitor can really impress you because of who they are and how they present themselves, and you don't see that in the pictures at all. All you see is static poses, and so when people compare that,
yeah, it's 10 pounds.
Yeah, so I totally get it. But I know I'm sure you'll do well. I mean, at least I hope so. And I know that just to keep I think from what I've seen in the past, you have always. Well, I've always appreciated your physique. I've always thought you had a good look on stage, and
oldest competitors on there.
Well, that's okay. Age is nothing. I can't. But
I'm saying I'm from the beginning, kind of.
Yeah.
I've been in the industry for a while. When did bikini start? 2010?
Yeah, about 2010.
I turned pro in 2012.
Wow.
So, I'm like one of the oldest.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Many of us left.
I know. Isn't that strange?
Wait, there really isn't. Hold on. I'm thinking. Ashley is probably the oldest. She turned pro around the same time I did, maybe a month later.
Okay.
A month before. Yeah, she did a month before, and at the USA's, and then I was at North Americans.
Okay. Yeah, there's even some of the earlier ladies, like Amanda, she's done. So
Amanda.
Latona?
Oh, yeah, she's done. Yeah.
Yeah. She was at the Arnold doing the commentation. Did you see that? She was like one of the MCs.
Really? I had no time.
Hey, hey, man. I think she's a wonderful lady, and Steve is a great guy, but she sucked.
Really?
I thought she sucked.
Commentating for what?
Well, she was not commentating. She was emceeing. She was emceeing for the Arnold. She was emceeing at the event at the night show, and she.
Wait, the competition?
Mm-hmm, yeah, for some of it, not all of it. She was there for the majority of it. So certain divisions she would announce. And I just did not like her. I love her as a person, but man, I did not like her presence as an MC. It was so contrived, and it was really forced. It's like, and it was like she had all this energy. I could totally tell she was excited to do it, and I was excited to see her try to do it. But it came across like you're trying too hard, like you're not comfortable. You're trying too hard, and the jokes were bad.
She's on stage?
Yeah, she's on stage. Yeah.
Wow, no, I didn't.
She was with the other fella. I forget his name. He's always there every year, and he does
Bob?
Not Bob. No, the one guy they get the Arnold. They get there. He does all the MC for the finals. He sucks. I don't like him because he doesn't appear like he even knows what the industry is really about. I mean, he knows just because he MCs these things. but she was better than him. But I did. but I don't know. I think she'll probably get better if she keeps doing it.
I asked her.
Oh, are you? Now people compete for various reasons, but why are you still competing?
Because I love it.
Of course, that's
I
all.
like being on stage.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Regimented.
Is it still as fun?
Yeah, it's fun. It still keeps me regimented. I work towards a goal. I like getting on stage. I like to go to different places. It keeps me current it helps me with my job as well. So why not? And it's like, if I have nothing else to do, I
Sure.
don't have kids. I don't have kids. So it's like,
Now-
why not? I'm at the gym every day, you know? Yeah, that's it. I really like it.
Well, aside from all this competing stuff, like what's some of the exciting stuff that you're doing these days?
See, well,
Aside from moving to a new state.
just work, training. I mean, I've, have my own private training business here in Dallas, so that's like really busy. I told you, so because it's hard. It was hard for us to even get together because I train literally from like 5 a.m. until like 2 in the afternoon. Wow. 2 in the afternoon. Then I train myself, and then I have to go back. I do people up for at night from 4 until like 8. They're all private. They're all privately. So yeah, they keep me busy, and then I have a few online, and then I'm judging, and then yeah, that's it.
It's nice. Well, it's good. And I know that this kind of stuff, this industry kind of lends itself nicely to this kind of lifestyle. Although I have to admit, when I owned a gym years ago, over 20 years ago, in the Bay Area, I hated training people in the gym. And what I didn't like wasn't the actual interfacing with people, but what I didn't like was always being in the gym. Then when I got the chance to work out, it was almost like I didn't get excited about working out. I was already there. I
felt like that too. But I think I'm just a workaholic, and I have a good work ethic. So I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, this is your job, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I guess I have to do stuff that I love, right? I have to enjoy it all the time. If I'm not enjoying it, man, you can really tell.
That's why I have like 6 memberships, so I can go to any gym I want. Yeah.
Wow, how many gyms they got in your area?
No, I just there's different chains of gym, and I belong to all of them. Therefore, if I have a break, I can go to this gym, that gym. I can train, at a gym that I work at. I mean, so I could always change the environment.
Right. It was more than just it was me just being over. I think for me, and I don't think this is the truth for everybody. It certainly isn't for you. But for me, it was just being always being in the gym. I was there at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I left at 10 at night. And
well, if you had a regular 9-to-5 job, you'd be in that office.
Yeah. But I would be able to look forward to my workout, and that was the part that sucked. It wasn't being in the gym. It was not being able to look forward to that workout. I loved working out. I was like, man, but I was already there at the gym. I was already working out with people, so to speak. It was like, man, I wanted to look forward to that workout. I wanted to get into it. So when I started, when I really, really transformed my business, almost 25 years ago, that's the part I cut out. But I am so glad there's people like yourself and other people who really enjoy it, who really enjoy being, working with people in the gym, because man, it just wasn't for me. But that's just me. That's just my own personal thing. Now do you? I know you said you work with some other clients, and you used to. You've been coaching for a long time. You coached with Bombshell, and then did some other stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I've been a coach 7 years.
And what do you find to be?
I've been a coach, like a prep coach trainer for 7 years, but I've been a trainer for like 10.
Okay. And what now? Originally, what?
I was in advertising. I was a reporter.
I remember that. Yeah. What got you? So you just started competing, and then you sort of transformed, sort of converted your sort of persona.
But I was, there came a point where I hated the monotony of like traveling to the city and then all the commute, and then just I looked at the same computer system for like years, and it was just like these people, and I just had it. And I think at that time I was going through a breakup, and I found myself like super stressed. So I went to the gym more, and then I had a friend who was getting ready for a show, and she was like, well, why don't you do this? And at the time I was like, oh, that's not me. I'm so extroverted. I don't want to, no. And I don't know. I just kind of I saw that she was looking really good. So I was like, all right, well, let's introduce me to your trainer. Maybe I'll think about it. So I started working with a trainer. I knew what to do, but it's different when you work with somebody because you get like a different angle on like exercises and stuff like that. So I started working out with him, And then I was just like, all right, I'll do a show. But it kept me busy. It kept me busy. I didn't think about what I was going through. And I did my show and I did really well. And then I turned pro like literally June, July, 2 months after that.
So does the sport still do that for you? Keep you sane in an insane world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to say that for myself. I guess I get trapped in my head a lot thinking about stuff. I just can't help it. I'm very cerebral by nature. I'm academic by nature. I tend to overthink a lot of things. I tend to want to dig into philosophy and the philosophy of everything.
Yeah, I'm like that too, but I'm doing it as I work out, and and then you have moments where like you'll just focus on the exercise and not think about what it was you were thinking about, and you'll go back and forth, and over time those stresses just get less and less. I can't explain it.
Sure, no, that makes sense. No, that makes sense. I guess what is that the part that you like most about what you do with other people, which when you train other people, is working with them and being in the gym and is it sort of a way for you to sort of do the same thing for them?
I like it because by nature I found that I really enjoy helping people. You know, it's like everybody finds their calling at some point. Mm-hmm. You know, and to me, like I like that. So even though with a huge pay cut, I switched careers and decided to go into this.
And it was worth it, right?
It was worth it because now, 7 years later, I'm actually making just as much as I made when I was back in.
Okay, good.
Yeah, actually a little more. So, yeah, but it took some years, But then, if I come to think of it, it took some years to launch, that career in advertising because I started with high school, then I went to college, and I got my MBA, so it took years too.
Everything is a process. I think people sometimes young athletes forget that part or they don't realize that success is built years before almost. Yeah. So tell me about your training and coaching philosophy. Like talk about that. I'm interested. How you train other and are you specific to just ladies or you work with everybody?
Men and women. My philosophy is simple. You can't, you have to be in it to win it. Like you can't do half-ass workout diet and expect a miracle. and I'm just like very realistic with them. When they say, well, how long it's going to take? I said, you tell me, how long it's going to take because I just had a conversation with one of my clients now because she came to me in January. She's like, I need to lose weight. I need to be this size by May. What do you think? Do you think I can do it? And I said to her, I don't know. You tell me. Can you do it? Because it's nothing to do with me.
Right. I'm glad you say that.
And I said, I can only guide you, so it's really up to you. And now this girl owns like 2 companies. She's super busy. And now we're in April, and she just started getting into her diet. It took her from January until now for it to click. And I turn around and I said, so you think you're going to drop 20 pounds by May? She's like, you're right. I was like, exactly. So I was like, you came to me like you had, like, I guess she was like, I think in her head, she was like, if I can't get her to where she needs to be by May, I won't sign on with her. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But now, given that now it's April and she has been with me since the beginning, now she gets it. She's like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like I can't expect a miracle because I don't do the work.
A lot of people kind of are expecting like you to produce some magic that is separate and apart from them, like some magic bullet, some magic formula, some magic something that's gonna, and so really they take the ownership of that effort, that work off of themselves and onto you.
I tell them it is a lifestyle. You have to adjust your life in order for you to be healthy and fit and look the way you want.
How do you help people do that? Because what I find is it's hard sometimes for people to change those behaviors when they're stuck.
It's a habit. Everything's a habit.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
So the more consistent you are, the better. So when somebody is putting like a price to their health, that's where they're gonna fail because you need to come to the gym more than just once a week. Because I know they're not going to get here the other 3 times, right?
Right.
No, just be real, they're not,
Right.
right? Because they've already like said I could only afford this much, so it's only one time a week. I'm like, well, you're not going to get any results because I just know that you're not going to come in the other 3 days, even though you say you will. So the point is that I try to keep them consistent, whereas they're constantly seeing me 3 or 4 times a week, and that habit over time, they will adapt. They usually do.
They'll create that. They'll create some of those habits just by nature of them being signed up with you, or if you will, forcing them to
just going to the gym,
Right.
having that set time. Okay,
Right.
not making sure that they do show up, you show up. Do you know what I mean?
There's
a process.
there's a certain degree of I think when people have some more skin in the game, they're more likely to. So sometimes paying money is the biggest is a big motivator. It's like, okay, I paid for this, I'm going to go show up for it.
Yeah, whether they do a workout, whether they a great workout or a half-ass workout, they showed up, right? So then that habit, 5 o'clock, I got to go to here, and then over time, they feel better, they start noticing results, and then that 5 o'clock starts to be like, all right, I got to get to the gym. Like it's like clockwork. They don't even, it's not about me anymore. It's about I just got to get to the gym. It's 5 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It takes usually about 21 days, is what studies show, to make a habit, and it's about right. So obviously, it could change for different people, but I think you're right. Absolutely, habits. This is all about habits and behavior.
And it starts with one habit, which is showing up, and then from there, everybody wants to do everything all at once. They want to like eat right, get to the gym, but that's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. That's right.
So let's just get you committed to like coming in to the gym. Then we could work on something else.
That's really, really smart, actually, of you to do that. Take that methodology, because I've tried to explain this to people over the years. This exact kind of philosophy. Like, you don't try to be perfect. They want all these components to be in their life that they've never been doing. They haven't been doing. It's like you want to change your whole life overnight. Like, and then you cry because you can't do it for one day. It's like. So once you establish one habit, then you work on the next habit. Mm-hmm. So then you work on the diet, and then how that I imagine that's probably a pretty successful formula.
Yeah, actually, it has worked. It has worked. And then there are those that really just want to say they go to the gym to say they go to the gym.
Right, they just want a buddy to work out with.
Or just mentally that just feels good, like, oh, they're doing something. Sure. Okay, that's fine too. But then I tell them, then you can't complain that things are not happening.
Right. Exactly. What do you work with them on, like some of their mindset or some of their attitude, that kind of stuff? Because I do a lot of that work, but I love it. I actually love giving my perspective on those kinds of things when they ask me, because it seems to be the critical piece. Like, how we think about something can definitely change or can motivate us to do it or not to do it or whatever.
Well, if they say, I mean, I guess I do in a way. I don't have a lesson plan on it, but I think during the course of a session, but I went out to eat, it's so hard. I'm like, no, it's not. You can go out to eat and eat healthy.
Absolutely.
And then I'll break it down. Well, you should have done this. Oh, well, yeah, I could have done that. Right. See, so, and then and the more you see them, the more you talk about these things, right? So then it's all about showing up consistent. Yeah.
Be in their face a lot, so to speak.
Yeah.
Of sorts. And it makes good sense, actually. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, then it sinks in. It does.
Now, did you have somebody like that for you when you first started out?
No.
Or you just?
I was on a team, but nobody. I self-motivate myself, to be honest.
There's people that do this. Like, I'm a self-motivated person too. I have to find my own purpose first before I can do anything. But everyone does it different. What's your process?
I mean, I've always been like, I just do it. I never need motivation. Like, when I started competing, this is what I have to do, and I just followed whatever I have to do. And then, like you know what it is? Because I've been training since I was 20. I played sports in high school, so I've always been fit. Do you know what I mean? I never had an issue trying to get to the gym. It was I built that growing up. Do you get it? Like, I've always been active growing up. And then it wasn't until like mid-20s where I was like, oh, I should eat right, you know? And then that's where I started to start researching on how to eat right. And so I was already eating right by the time I got to competing at 30.
Okay. Did you
32.
start off in sports? Did you participate in sports when you were in high school?
Yeah, I was a gymnast for 10 years. I started when I was 8 years old. I was a gymnast in high school. I played college lacrosse. Then my first job from high school to college was I worked in a gym. And then since I was playing sports in college, Division II lacrosse, I had to be at the gym every day, right? So I've always been active. So the working out wasn't the issue. My habit was already built from the time as I was growing up.
Right.
Whereas most people don't have that. They just start it now and they're like, 40 years old.
And that could be difficult. That seems to be one of the difficult things to get. But I usually find that about 2 to 3 weeks, and people get into the, like I said, like 20 days or so, 2 to 3 weeks, and people get pretty conformed. But it's easy. But it takes only a couple of days to break it. Next thing you know, they're off.
Fine. They have to know that it's a lifestyle. It's not like, it's not just a 12-week alteration. You have to actually change your way of thinking, your eating, how you look at food. You're committing to certain times to put into your workout,
Is that the hardest part in terms of working with the clients and helping them is establishing some of those habits? And then is that the most...
Yeah, because everybody has an excuse. Oh, I have this, a lot of mostly the issue is I have no time.
I hear that a lot too, and I don't buy it.
They do have time. They just need to they have to want to make the time.
Yeah, well, we all have 24 hours a day, right?
Right.
It's like, so how are you going to use it? That's really the only question. It's not like you don't have it. You have time.
They want to change, but they don't want to. They want to change, but they don't want to change.
Yeah.
All right. So then, when you're ready, call me. How about that?
I think we're caught in our culture. We definitely have some hang-ups when it comes to stuff like this. Like, we want some results, but we don't necessarily always want to do what it takes to get what we want. At least in some of our culture.
Simple. Like, really, how do you not want to go to gym and sweat it out? Like, you don't even have to do anything strenuous. Just let's go for a walk. Let's just take a class. I don't get it.
I think there's other things.
You're right, and I don't get it because I've always been doing that.
Right. And now that years down the road, it's sort of built in now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't even think about it. I go to the gym. It's not a choice I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's part of what I do. Same thing. I meditate every morning. It's not a choice. It's not a choice. I do it. As a matter of fact, to me, that's the most important part of my day, is when I meditate. I love it. And
right.
Do you do anything like that? Any mindfulness techniques or anything like that?
No.
It's okay. It's like not everybody has to.
My mind's always going regardless. So no, I don't. I find that those meditations, it just makes me think more.
Oh, really? Well, it's supposed to do the opposite.
Because now the room is quiet, and now I'm thinking, okay, well, I have to do this, I have to do that. See what I mean? So, no, those things don't work for me.
I'll tell you, some days are better for me than others. Like some mornings I get up, and sometimes I can have a wonderful, easy meditation where my mind is clear, it's nice and calm, and I'm focused. And other times I am distracted. And so, but I don't let that stop me, because that's like not going to work out because I can't bench 600 pounds. Like, no, if I want to work my way up to that, I will. If I don't want to, I don't want to. I don't let,
right.
I still get value from, so, but it doesn't have to, but it's not necessarily something that everybody has to do. It's like, but I definitely like it. I also like, there's a distinction, I don't know if you know this, between mindfulness and meditation. So mindfulness is being in your moment, which is appreciating where you are. That's less stuff going on in your mind. You can't be thinking about stuff. You have to really be in your moment, smell the smells, touch the touches, see the sights, and take in the experience. And then there's meditation, which is really sort of calming, quieting of the mind, and where you're actually, and there's some real biological benefits to meditation, just so you know, lowers all kinds of stress hormones and all these kinds of wonderful things that we want when we compete and all that stuff. But one of the most profound things that I find is that, I don't know if you noticed this, but I definitely noticed this over the last 10 years. since our technology devices have become so prominent in our day, we've really become like sort of cyborgs with our cell phones. You rarely see people even not with one. Like even when they go to bed, it's right by their bedside, which I think is a horrible thing, even though mine's by my bedside. But when these devices and our technology, we're constantly interacting, constantly needing the stimulation, and so it has decreased our attention span. I'll sit and talk to somebody, and they will literally like and then like you got about 3. I think they say you got about 7 seconds, and then people you lose them. I mean, in their head, you lose them. You don't necessarily lose them in person, but you lose them in their head, and their mind jumps. And it's because we've trained ourselves, just like in the gym, we train ourselves. Do you? You always come across as somebody who seems to be always pretty focused on what you want, what you're doing. Mm-hmm. But do you find? I found it hard to interact with clients in the gym, even years ago, if they were unfocused, and that's why I advise meditation to all my clients, every single one. You want to know what to do? I would like you to meditate because it'll have value. And does that have do you have that? I mean, you're in the gym and you're training them, but what do you notice?
No, I mean they are. I think all my clients are pretty much focused though. Okay. Well, I don't have that issue. I mean,
because when I go to the gym these days. Now, that may be different because you're actually training them. I'm looking around the gym and I don't see much focus going on. I see everybody fucking around their cell phones. I see everybody.
That I see all the time. Yeah. They're lost and they look the way they look and I look the way I look.
So. Well, it's okay. I mean, like I'm not here to dictate what anybody else should be doing in the gym, but it's the lack of attention span that I tend to like that I'm focused on. Like wow, like and then they complain about the consequences of that. Which is, okay.
When they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, then
that's usually the case for most of us in this world, right? We get to that point where once you've had enough, once you're done, then you're done. And I know like today was a quick one. I know that you had some other stuff that you had to do and stuff like that. But before we go on this is one of my shorter podcasts but I appreciate you doing it. What can we expect to see from you in this next year? Aside from this one show, I'm assuming you plan on competing more? You plan on doing more stuff?
I plan on trying to make it back to Olympia.
Of course. Yeah, of course. No, I'll see you there for sure.
Why not, right? You don't compete. No, that's not true because I compete just to compete. Sometimes I don't really care if I where I land. But now this year that is my goal between this year and next year. And after that, I think I'm done.
Oh, really? Okay. So this is the last year, so to speak, or next year's last year? 2 years?
Yeah.
And when you look at your career of competing, if it all ended today, would you be happy?
No.
No, you got more in the tank. You got more something else you got to do.
No, in my mind I was like, I just want to get back to the O again. Then after I've done that, then I'd be happy. However, if that doesn't happen, I think within the next 2 years, mentally I'd be like, okay, at least I went once.
You'll go again. I kind of have a sneaky. You go again.
Yeah, no, that's really it. Like, no, I can't. I am happy because the industry opened up a lot of doors for me. I got to experience like a lot of things, meet so many great people, transform my life as far as like being regimented, being focused. It has allowed me to just be stronger in things that I want and to go for it. And has, ideally. Normally, I'm very introverted. I don't kind of keep to myself, and the sport has kind of like made me.
It's ironic because in some areas you're very extroverted, and in some areas you're not. You're a very private person in some things, and in other areas you're not. And it's ironic because of your history, your broadcasting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You would think like
But anybody that knows me, I just kind of like to sit home and just watch Netflix and.
I like that.
I mean, it's just kind of like my Saturdays and Sundays are filled with like chores and just going. Actually, I'm going to the museum. I do things.
Oh, cool.
I travel a lot. Like I backpack.
Really? Like, what was the last place you went to backpack? That sounds very cool. I've never.
I backpack every year,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah. So by
Where
the
to?
time I've been to, but hold on. By the time I reach, oh my gosh, I don't want to say my age, but let's see. So 7 years from now,
Okay. Okay.
if I go the route that I'm going, as far as the visiting countries, I would have visited 65 cities all over the world.
Nice. That's cool.
So last year,
Backpacking?
yeah, backpacking.
Oh,
Well, when I
cool.
say backpack, I don't mean like I have a backpack, like a backpack. I just have one luggage,
Okay.
and it's backpack. I'm referring to I travel more economically.
Sure. It's like that one guy who used to be on PBS. He promoted, I forgot his name. He's a very famous guy. He wrote all those books about traveling lightly. Everything should go into like this
Well, no,
little.
not the packing. It's
Oh,
if I go on vacation, I'm not going to. I would go into like a 4 or 5 star hotel. When I backpack, I'm at a Airbnb or a hostel. Do you know what I mean?
yep. I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's more economic.
So you get to see the visceral sort of city or the
Yeah,
people and the culture.
I don't go to fancy dinners. I just go like to the local tourist spots, the hidden gems, right? I have an itinerary every day from the time I wake up to the time I, go to bed. I'm
Wow.
out all day, walking, experiencing whatever it is for that city. Yeah, and then the next day I'm either on a train to another city or I'm on a plane to another city.
So to date, what was the most interesting place or thing that you've seen on your adventures?
Let's see. Well, this past, let me look at my notes because it's all in here. So this past December, we were in Stockholm. We went to Stockholm, Krakow, Copenhagen, and Prague. I went back to Prague for the second time because the city's so beautiful. And then the year before that, we were in Budapest, Rome, Italy, and some other country, Vienna, Venice.
So of all the places you've been, like what was and just off the top of your head, what was your favorite experience? Greece?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I love Mediterranean food. The weather was great. I like visiting, all the monuments that they have there, and I don't know. I just like Greece.
It sounds wonderful.
And I like Budapest because we went in the wintertime. They had this huge, massive pool, or it's a spa, and like everybody goes in it. It's like the Turkish bath, but it's outdoors, so it's like 10 degrees outside, but we're all in a bath.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And actually, this year we're off to Lisbon, Porto, Dubrovnik, Malta, and Beirut.
Oh, wow. Beirut. That's kind of interesting. That would be fascinating.
That will be like a 2.5 week backpacking trip, and it's like we stayed I stayed 2 days, 3 days in each country.
Oh, wow. So you get to see the local sites and that
It's
kind of.
very short. So my itinerary is like just the best parts. There's an app that like I look at.
Okay.
That for all the good sightseeing stuff, and I just hit those, and then I usually take a train to the next city, or I fly.
Oh, wow.
So it depends on the city. I'm so good at logistics that like I've had this down to a pat. Like I fly into one city, from there I book the travel into the next country, and then I fly back out from the other country.
So now, what if they don't speak the language? Like, is it easy to find people that speak English or?
No, I just, you know what? I haven't had any issues with the language barrier. I mean, because right now I'm hitting mostly all of Eastern Europe.
Okay.
So
English is pretty prominent.
yeah. So I think because my goal is to hit the top cities in every continent.
That'd be cool.
So now we've done Eastern Europe, and then we're gonna go into Africa, kind of like Johannesburg, Cape Town, and then Dubai. I just want to hit like the major cities in each continent.
What's the place that you haven't been to that you most look forward to hitting someday?
I would have to say Russia.
I knew you were going to say that. I don't know why.
I want to go there, and Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi. Now that sounds like fun. But Russia would be cool too. It just depends.
That would be in 2020.
2020. You've already got it mapped out. I like that.
Yeah, no, and I'd like to go to Egypt.
Egypt would be cool.
My brother is who got me into this. He travels every year, in his contract for his work. His vacation is taken all in the month of January, so they give him 3 weeks off right up front in January.
Oh wow!
So he just travels.
I know you're closer to your brother, but he started doing this when and then that's how you got into doing it.
My brother's 34 now. He started doing this when he was 28.
Okay, and you started doing it with him?
No.
Oh.
I didn't. Oh yeah, yes. I was always traveling prior, but to actually hit like 5-6 countries, that just started like 7 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I've been traveling longer than he has. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What is the biggest value of, like, if you were talking to somebody who's never traveled or who doesn't travel much, what would you say if you were trying to convince them, say, hey, what would you say the biggest value would be that you have gotten out of traveling and seeing other cultures?
It keeps me grounded.
In what way? What do you mean?
You know, I'm blessed to like have a lot, all the things that I have in life, and you go to these different countries and you realize that, wow, like you have it pretty good. Like there's no reason for you to complain, and it opens up your eyes to like different cultures and how people live, and you're just like, wow, like it makes you appreciate what you have back home, and on top of that, these, things that you see, places that you visit, like there's massive like architecture that you'll never find in the US. Churches, monuments, like hundreds of years. You're like, wow, that does exist. So when I went to Rome and my hotel was right in front of the Parthenon.
Oh wow!
You're just like right in front, like 500 feet. I walked out of the door.
That's cool.
In front of me, and that's like thousands of years.
Yeah.
So I said, if you're not gonna travel for the self-finding, to be grounded and to appreciate what you have in life, go to see the world.
Absolutely. I haven't done as nearly as much traveling as you have, just for work. Everything's pretty much been just for work, which is fine for me. But I have gotten the itch to, like, the more I've traveled, the more I want to travel.
And plus I travel by myself sometimes, so it's like, wow, you have to be resourceful. It teaches you to be resourceful, to think on your feet, to figure it out.
Kind of funny you say that, because my girlfriend is a world traveler. She's traveled in 89 countries, I believe, in her lifetime. She was born in Bangkok, and she grew up in the United States, and then she traveled all around because her family's kind of wealthy. And so she had wonderful opportunities to do this, and that was one of the things that the value she got was, it didn't keep her grounded per se, because I wouldn't call her an incredibly grounded person, but it kept her, it gave her perspective on all these other different cultures, and she really appreciates it. She loves finding out new stuff and seeing new sites and going to like. Yeah, so and I was like, and she's been to places I've never even heard of before. And
it makes you more independent, as you travel by yourself.
But one of the things she did say, and which is what I would love to get your perspective on, because she's a very attractive woman like you are, and she said traveling alone is not a great idea in some countries. So how do you combat that? Like, do you have to watch out for stuff? Yeah,
you do. I mean, if I'm doing a trip by myself, I have to be in at a reasonable time. I'm not going to be out late partying. I, don't go and hang out with random people.
Right.
Like I try to, you meet people on the way. Oh yeah, come hang out with us. No, I'm good, thanks. You just have to be mindful of like where you go, and always be prepared. Sorry.
Because that was one of the concerns that she raised, and she says when it comes to certain countries, she won't travel without a friend.
Yeah, sometimes I wouldn't, but so far the countries I have been, any country, somebody could spike your drink at the restaurant,
Right.
So you just have to, and always just kind of like, don't make it seem like you're alone.
Right.
don't tell somebody, oh, I'm traveling by myself.
I'm all here for a week for myself. You're like, oh, great.
And now I have issues. I mean, I get back to my Airbnb by the time dinner time is, and I
That's cool, though. I think that's a really neat kind of thing. I think I may, in the next half of my life, do a lot more traveling, because I think it is important. I do know that when I have traveled, like to Kuwait and other places, it gave me incredible perspective and that sense of gratitude and appreciation for not only what I have, but where I'm at, and that's good. That's a good thing, So because sometimes we can get focused on the crap we don't like. Like, this sucks, my life sucks. It doesn't really suck, man.
Yeah.
I'll show you a life that sucks.
Right.
So, go to Ethiopia.
And so that's where I spend my money, is traveling.
That's cool, though. What is there? So your next one is in the summer?
Yeah. It's probably right around the Olympia time, right after.
What if you go to the Olympia? It won't affect your trip. It'll be a celebration, right?
It'd be a celebration, but I think that if I do the Portugal show, then I would just start from Portugal and go straight through.
I would love to go. That Portugal sounds like a fun place. As a matter of fact, I heard a lot of expats go there and live from the United States because it's inexpensive. Like a lot of startups will, for the first 2 years or so, they'll go to some places in Portugal because the cost of living is very, very affordable, and they're very friendly.
Yeah, you're right. I heard that too.
They're very friendly to, like, especially U.S. people and stuff like that. So, and English is pretty much a second language.
Yeah, I think I might just do that show. So
there you go. See, we figured out something already. But is there what else is going on? What else for you other than this next nebulous show? I think it's probably, I don't know which one it is.
That's it, really.
Okay, well, that's good.
Nothing. No, I mean just working, competing, and just living life.
I was very pleased to see you at the Arnold Expo when I ran into you. I'm so happy I got a chance to see you. I'm so glad you're still tootling around and doing your thing in the industry and competing. I'm happy that you're still competing, because as long as you're getting value and having fun from it, I say keep doing it. Your physique doesn't look tired or anything like that. Everything looks good usually. Everything's pretty good.
I've been in this habit since I was young.
Right.
You have to start young, right? So if you have kids, right, you got to start them young.
That's right. Well, I tell people, look, man, once you start going down the backside of the ball as it's rolling down the hill, it's hard to get it to push it back up. Like you gotta, between aging and everything else, you can't wait until you go down the hill. What was that?
You have to instill this into your kids when they're young.
Yeah, my daughter, she's 10 now, or just about to turn 10, and she wants to do everything that I do, and so I don't ever. Some people used to ask me, "Are you gonna get into the sport?" I said, "No." I said, I would never do that. But if she wants to, absolutely, I'd support her. But would I push her? No. But I will push a good lifestyle, and I do it through my example. I do it through my example. I say, look, Daddy goes to work out, Daddy does this, and I eat this, and she wants to do the same thing, with the exception of my my root beer. I have a thing for Barks root beer. I like it.
So, dinner time.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you spending some time with me and talking on the show here. I really do appreciate it. I know you're busy. I know you're tired. It's been like a long week, I'm sure. And I know you're dieting, and so that can't feel good either. Trying to lose more weight than you probably don't want to lose.
We always use a few more pounds.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, that's in my case. I lose weight and it sucks. It's just I can't eat enough. I just can't get, my appetite isn't high.
Bikini girls.
I know, man. If you stuck my psyche into a bikini girl's body, it would be perfect, because it would be perfect. I mean, my appetite would match it perfectly. I do. I have a little girl's appetite, man. It's like horrible. Which has always been the bane of my existence since I can remember, because I was always trying to force food down my throat. But at least now I don't have to compete, and I found at 48, it's so much easier to maintain my physique because I've held it for so long. So and I've never taken breaks. Always worked out. Always did my diet for 34 years. So it's like, you get people ask me, well, how come you can do this? How come you can go out and eat, like Giordano's pizza and all this? Like, because I got so much momentum going one direction. One meal is not going to fuck me up. So, but good luck on the rest of your prep, and I hope that you're doing the show that I'm judging. But if you're not, then that's okay. Then
what show you're judging?
Yeah, I gotta look at my schedule now. I gotta go. Now it's got me thinking. But you, I really do think that you have a wonderful physique, and I really wish you the best, no matter what.
Dad.
And I hope that, and good luck to you and you've been in Dallas. You've been living in Dallas now for how long?
Since August 2017.
Oh man, that's right. I'm behind the curve here. So, oh man.
Yeah. Almost 2 years.
Yeah, I think the last time that we actually talked in person, we were talking on the phone. I was in Pittsburgh, and it was probably about 6 months before you moved in.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, you were going through a lot of stuff, and we were just chit-chatting, but I remember I didn't know that you were moving. I didn't know. So that's why it surprised me when you said that.
I just woke up one day and did it. That's really what it is.
I dig that. I totally dig that. I may do that myself.
Yes, we're all here.
I'm telling you, man. Like,
communities here.
Well, there's 3 places. Like I said, there's 3 places. The first place is Arizona, and mainly because my brother took a dean position at Arizona State, and I really want to go. And I just got to be in sunny weather, man. I am Hawaiian by nature, and this Chicago crap is not doing it for me. It's cold here in the winter, man, and there's I don't do snow. I don't like it. I never didn't like it in Pittsburgh. Don't like it here.
So different from here. Change is so different when you go into, Dallas or Arizona. So you like it.
I love dry heat. I love the desert. So it's good to me
too.
So, well, no matter what, I know I'll see you sometime before the end of the summer, hopefully.
Yeah.
And you've inspired me. I'm gonna go look into this backpacking thing. I think I want to do some light travel because when I travel, I like to carry everything in one bag.
Yo, why did you just go with your girl?
Because she's a stress ball, and I'm not gonna do that to myself.
She's the best source because she does it. So
she does it in a different way. Like for her, it's like she wants to stay in a nice place or do this and then go to these. And it's very different. It's very different. And I want to be a little more. For me, it's for me. Because if I go with her, it's going to be her and me. I don't want it to be her and me. I want it to be me. Right. This is me.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The fancy hotels, I save it for like vacations with my boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if we're backpacking,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, I see. Well, I don't think she would enjoy doing it that way.
Hostel? Okay.
She would not enjoy that. It's not. She likes her.
Hostel. I've slept in like the shittiest like.
Well, she enjoys her Chanel purses, and I mean she's got a lot. I mean, and
I don't bring anything nice.
Yeah, no. So she wouldn't want to. Like, I don't think she would want to slum it.
If I lost my luggage, I'd be like, it's all shit clothes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I kind of dig that. I kind of just want to be like, I got the most valuable stuff in my wallet. I got my phone. I got my wallet. I'm like, this is all I need.
Don't carry anything valuable.
Yeah, no.
Because I'm not going out to a fancy dinner. We're sightseeing, and then we're out of place.
See,
we're on the train.
I can dig that. It's the others. I mean, I like doing the other formal vacations too. Yes, that's fine. But most of the time I've been on vacation, I really got excited because I could hang out on a beach and do nothing.
Oh, there's no...
So, well, no matter what, good luck in the upcoming weeks at the next upcoming show. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know this is a quick one, but I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. And when you get to the Olympia, I'll see you there. I know you will. Tell the story in your head. Tell the story that you want to live out in your head, and believe it because it can happen.
That makes me motivated. That's why I'm still competing.
There you go. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Gigi. I really appreciate it. I always love talking to you every time I talk to you. So I appreciate you taking the time, and I know you're tired. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening and a wonderful rest of the of your prep, whichever it ends up being. And I think maybe like. I'll see you before. No matter what, I'll probably see you at some event within the next year and a half before you retire.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Handle your high with Tadayoshi.